Hello. I was in Brooklyn and I found this. Went into the library and was looking around and actually had to use the bathroom and then was looking around and found this. So we'll do some classes on this, some videos on this. Killing Rage, Ending Racism, Bell Hooks. I've read some Bell Hooks. I don't know if this is my first time doing some videos on it, but I need to do more on Bell Hooks. We're going to read the chapter Beyond Black Rage, Ending Racism. And I haven't done videos on books in a while because I wasn't feeling well, one. Two, I've been trying to organize my website and organize some programs I got and trying to get some funding for some things. I don't think there's a lag here, so bear with me. I'm still not as organized as I should be, but here we go. Before Newsweek published its cover story, The Hidden Rage of Successful Blacks, before a disturbed black man shot white commuters on a New York train, I wrote an essay about killing rage, about the anger that was surfacing in me in response to racism in this society. In that essay, I emphasized that it is a mark of the way Black Americans cope with white supremacy that there are few reported incidents of Black rage against racism, leading us to target white folks. We used to shoot each other. Shortly after this essay was written, a black man randomly shot people on a New York train. They were not all white, even though mass media made it appear that was the case. However, the motive behind the random killing was depicted as anger at racism. In notes he carried on his person, he expressed anger at racism by Caucasians and Uncle Tom Negroes. Even though the gunman carried in his pocket a list of containing the names of black male leaders, the white-dominated mass media turned his pathological expression of anger towards blacks and whites alike into a rage against white people. Well, I can see that. Because there are black people carrying out white agendas. Or really, when you get down to it, it's injustice. They're carrying out injustice against their fellow human beings. It was like if you were on a concentration camp, and you traded secrets for food or extra stuff like that. That's basically what's going on. Despite being psychologically disturbed, the suspect never made racism synonymous with white people. He held accountable all the groups who helped perpetuate and maintain the institutionalized racism, including black folks. That the media chose to reduce his complex understanding of the nature of neo-colonial racism to rage against whites set the stage for white folks to further demonize and dehumanize all black folks while representing themselves as a group that is never carried away by killing rage. In newspaper articles reporting the incident, there was no mention of enraged white folks killing blacks. Happens all the time. Indeed, the wife of one of the white victims shared her feeling that lots of whites hate blacks, but they don't go around shooting them. Of course, shoot them, lynch them, all kinds of stuff. Of course, in saying this, she revealed her ignorance of a long, well-documented history of racist aggression towards blacks, wherein enraged whites have done just that. Contrary to her uninformed assertion, the annals of history document the slaughter of black folks by enraged white Americans. Just days before the train incident, the newspaper USA Today carried a brief statement reporting that Ku Klux Klan informant Henry Alexander, dying of cancer, confessed to his wife that in 1957 he and 3 white male associates abducted a black man and forced him to jump from a bridge into a river in Alabama. The man was killed by the fall. This is what they do. I would have made them shoot me. I'm not jumping into no river. Hell with you. But then again, jumping into the river, if you can swim, I guess he figured he would have a chance to live. This is the black life. This was 1957. Nothing's changed. And way a lot of black people deal with rage out here, a lot of alcohol, a lot of drugs, a lot of heroin I see, a lot of nodding. I used to see that when I was a kid in the projects a little bit, the nodding, people bent over but never falling. See it a lot here. And I see it Queens, I see it in Manhattan. In the Bronx. Brooklyn. I haven't been in enough parts of Brooklyn recently, but I live here in Queens all the time in Jamaica, Queens. The heroin addicts. Sad. It's really sad. Despite all the documented cases of shootings, lynchings, and various slaughters of black folks by hostile white races, we will never really know the exact numbers. And that is not really even important. It is important that everyone in the United States understand that white supremacy promotes, encourages, and condones all manner of violence against black people. Institutionalized racism allows this violence to remain unseen and or renders it insignificant by suggesting it is justifiable punishment for some offense. Mass media do not see it as newsworthy. Yet, when a black man carrying notes about racism randomly kills folks on a train, that is deemed newsworthy. Of course. If it's white media, then anything that affects them is newsworthy. That's why Asians have media, Hispanics have media, and blacks should have media. But our media is dominated by entertainment. We don't really care about nonfiction. If you don't believe me, look at my views. Look at my YouTube views on this channel. And it tells you everything you need to know about what interests us and what we find important. Reported everywhere in the world, this incident was used not to highlight white supremacy and its potential maddening impact. It became just another way to stereotype black males as irrational, angry predators. You can keep playing this game, but if they don't do something about the bitterness, and now it's not just bitterness that we come from the system, of course, but from our own families and friends and things like that. Ex-lovers, ex-wives, ex-husbands, ex-whatever. You have a lot of rage. Not only in the black men either. It's in the black women too. It's in black people. It's in black youth. And it's justifiable rage. All of it. So, you're playing with time bombs. White-dominated mass media used this incident to continue a long line of what Toni Morrison in her editorial on the Back of Blacks calls race talk. The explicit insertion into everyday life of racial signs and symbols that have no meaning other than pressing African Americans to the lowest level of the racial hierarchy. She reminds us that popular culture, shaped by film, theater, advertising, the press, television, and literature, is heavily engaged in race talk. It participates freely in this most enduring and efficient rite of passage into American culture, negative appraisals of the native-born black population. Even though the black man on the New York train was not native-born, his actions were presented as though they revealed secrets about the nature of all black people in this society. The secrets have to do with what Newsweek magazine had already informed the public about. Excuse me. Hidden rage of successful blacks. Significantly, when white-dominated mass media call attention to that rage, the point is to suggest that it is misguided, misplaced, an inappropriate response, since these are the black people one white man told me who have been allowed to make it. That's very key. We're going to come back to that. He does not hear the racial paternalism in his use of the word allow. But he's right, though. He's right. Or understand the rage expressed in this article was about the failure of success to mediate and break down racist barriers. That despite their success, the individuals who had made it still encountered racial discrimination. The people who run all the institutions and all the systems that manage our lives, and when you live in a society like this, everything you do comes through institutions and systems. The Connerson Center is my institution by which I do my work. YouTube is an institution by which I do my work, and a lot of other people. Novella is an institution by which I do my work. Udemy, all these places are institutions by which I do my work, and other people do their work. We don't control any of it. And the problem has always been that the people who control the institutions decide who works in those institutions and not. You could be the most brilliant person you in the world. If you make white people uncomfortable, you're not working there. And it's very hard to convince black people that you have your job because they allowed you to have it. I have 2 college degrees because white folks allowed it. Okay? That doesn't mean I didn't work hard for it and didn't study and don't know things. No, one doesn't have anything to do with the other. Sure, I worked hard, but that's not why I got what I got. Because I know people who didn't work hard at all. I know some dense, what we used to call doy heads, who have advanced degrees. So as long as we don't have our own institutions, which we're starting to do more and more, I'm glad to see. We always have what we have because they allow it. Even though we work hard and we do the work and we push and we show our brilliance or whatever we do, they still have to allow it. Because let's be honest, most jobs are not solving any problem, which is the only reason why you should work, solving problem and master skills. Most jobs don't do any of those, or at least half the jobs don't do either. So a lot of the jobs that we're on, we're just kind of punching the clock and we're doing some tasks, but it's not really solving a problem. And when we ask to actually solve a problem, it's like running through walls. I'm dealing with a housing voucher program right now, and the people, I'm dealing with a lot of black people, and it's insane that I have no power over the thing, but I'm running around doing all the work to give to them to then sign off on, which I don't mind. I mean, I'm working for my vouchers. It's okay. But you slow the thing down. So everything takes 9 months when I've done all my running around, and it should take you a week, 2 weeks max, maybe 30 days. But because so many people have to touch the work after I do it, it's 9 months. That's what we're dealing with. And then one lady, Asian lady in Catholic Charities, home base, she took papers from me, went in the room and claimed that she scanned it and sent it off. And then when I finally talked to the person she's supposed to send it to, nothing came to that person. So then they just lie to get you out of their office, to get you out of their face. Sad. Really, really sad. Let's end here, and we'll pick up on the next one. We're going to do it the same way, one off, one on, one behind the paywall, one not. Killing rage, ending racism. We're not going to be able to solve problems until we do this, or we'll do one transformative thing that will kind of end this. We'll see. You know what you watch me long enough, you know what my thing is. Well, you would have to do reparations and follow that up with a UBI, or do a UBI and give black people who can trace their lineage to sharecropping My grandfather was a sharecropper. My grandmother was a domestic, and my mother was a domestic. So we would get it, me and my family, and we should get 50% more than everybody else. So if you gave $1,400 a month UBI, or let's just say a not a UBI, but a basic income to anybody who made 75,000 or less, or any couple made 150,000 or less. If you gave $1,400 a month to them, to blacks, you should give $2,100 a month. That would be a solution. That would end. That would end a lot of the racism, because it would give us stability, so that we could at least have roofs over our head, some kind of way. And I know some people say, well, but landlords would just raise rents. Look, rents are so astronomical now, it doesn't even make sense, right? And it would cause us to move. A lot of people are already moving from New York City, but you'd move to wherever the cheapest place is, or force landlords to make rents sane, because rents are insane. So we'll see if that happens. I think our next president is going to be Kamala Harris. I think that's who the ruling class wants. And I think her proposal is a $7,000 tax credit, a $3,600 for children. She's pushing the child tax credit back up. So I think that's a $7,000 UBI. I don't know if you, let's see what that is. Not a U, well, it is actually like a UBI. Let's see how much that is. Let's see how much that is a month. Like Jimmy Dore used to say, I'm no math surgeon. I used to watch him back in the day, but he's just so irresponsible now. 7,000 divided by 12. $583 a month. So about a $600 a month UBI if she does that tax credit for anybody who files taxes. So we're moving in that direction. It's not a lot of money, but it's something. And eventually we're one more situation, whether that be a pandemic or whether we're one more situation away from the $1,400 coming back and it being monthly. And remember, I don't know if she meant this, but she was the one right before Biden got the nomination. She was saying we should have got $2,000 a month, not $1,400, until this pandemic was over. So if the ruling classes, look, we're firing all these people, just give them this money, that's what she'll do. And many of the tech billionaires want to do that. They want to move to that. I don't know if the old school billionaires do. Right now, they're fighting amongst each other. So we'll see which one wins. And I used to think this would be 10, 15 years, but after 2020, I think it's going to be pretty soon. I just think they need an excuse for all the, how should I say it? For all the scared people, for all the people whose self-esteem is attached to their jobs, for all those people living in their bubbles to kind of, because that's why we didn't keep it in 2020. So many people, like, they wanted to go back to the old way, even though the old way is miserable. And I think now even they see, no, this is worse. So we've been misery. We had some peace, some stability. And because we were bored, we wanted to go back, and now this misery can't hold. Plus, the new system is moving forward. So there's a new world order, a great reset that's moving forward, and then there's portions of us that is pulling it back, but it's gone. We've moved on. You can't undo progress. You can't undo evolution. That's extinction. So, see you next time for the next video. Stay safe. We're in hurricane season. It's killing people. Stay safe. Take care. And try to stay sane.